Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
The next case we're going to hear from is cause number 39476, Zachary and Heather Marty versus Harmon and Harmon Consulting.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And can all three of you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm any testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
So help me God.
All right, let me get you pulled up. All right, so we hear from one of the Harmons. Who would like to explain to me what you are here for today?
This is Dennis Harmon. I'm one of the owners of Harmon and Harmon Construction. And we're here because there's a discrepancy.
I'm going to stop you. The plaintiff gets to go first. It looks like Marty, either Heather or Zachary. Yeah, they get to start first. So
Thank you, Your Honor. We are here on in regards to an insurance claim in September of 2024. A vehicle visiting our property hit our shop and caused damage. She provided her insurance information, and working with them, they asked us, they didn't have anyone in the area, to call different contractors to come out to get an estimate for the work. In approximately December of 2024, Harmon and Harmon came out and provided us an estimate, which is listed as an exhibit. They eventually received the check from the insurance company on 4/8. It had my husband had asked them to send the check directly to them so we could get the work started sooner than later. If you see on that document, it also says work to start on 4/9 of 2025. Since then, there have been some communication issues. You'll see an email reference some incidents where people have come over and opened our gate when we weren't home, apparently to do an estimate. I thought it was someone casing our location since they were in normal cars. There's been some communication back and forth and issues having to do with not being able to provide the proper materials to complete the job. In the end, as we're looking here, well over almost a year and a half since the incident initially occurred, we have had no work done at all on the property. And we've requested several times to have the monies returned, and they are stating they will not do that. So,
I see, at least in the notice, that you were seeking $7,817.09. Is that the correct amount?
That's the correct amount. That's the check that they received to complete the work. That is correct, and that is referenced in the document. Their own bid information. If you look at that information, it details the work to be completed. It doesn't talk about estimates. It doesn't talk about talking directly with the insurance company, none of that information.
And so if I'm looking at this invoice that has that amount on there, it shows a replacement of some 4x6s and some 2x10s, and then the labor replacing some metal siding, in a couple of different spots, and hauling away debris and dump fees. Was any of that done?
No.
Was there ever any workers on your property doing work?
If you look at the reference, no work has been done. Apparently they had, so when we weren't home, because I called 911, I thought someone was on our property. 2 different times they had people come over and look at that area, apparently. But they did not bring material when they were there, and they were just looking at it and talking in the cameras. And then they left, and our gate was closed. They opened it, went in, did that, and left. And that happened twice.
The only work was material delivery.
Yeah, they did deliver 2 pieces of metal, and that was it. But no work has ever been performed on the actual damage on the property.
Can you describe the pieces of metal that were delivered?
They're probably somewhere in the bid. They're metal, 2 small pieces of metal siding, approximately 12 by 2. They weren't terribly wide.
They're like 4 by.
You would know better. 4 by 12. 2 pieces of 4 by. Yeah.
Ish. Yeah.
Ish.
I don't have a tape measure.
Yeah. Sorry.
4 by 12.
And
they're
are they
still on the
still on
property.
your property?
Yeah, they've been there this whole time, just sitting there.
In one
Okay.
wood post, 4 by 4 post, about 16 foot tall.
Okay. Okay, anything else you wanted to add?
Pardon?
Anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, he did sign a contract in December. We would, due to some interactions that have been unpleasant, including people on our property where I had to call 911 twice because I thought they were thieves. And there's been some threats, and I just don't feel comfortable having them do the work. We do want the work done, but our concern is that the contract states that they're the only ones that can do it. So if that's the case as a homeowner, I know that we should be able to do it. We'd rather have another contractor, but we think we're limited. I'm not a lawyer though, so I don't know. So, but that's, I don't feel comfortable, would not feel comfortable having him do any work on the property.
And I'm looking at the file and I'm just trying to make sure I have everything. I noticed that you did serve the notice of this claim on the defendants. Did you
Yes.
have a first serving?
Yes, I did serve. We served, I had a professional person serve it on their.
I want to recover that.
Yeah. It'd be nice to recover that too. It was 120 to have that done. He went to their, apparently he went to their residence twice and they didn't open the door. And then he served it on their actual LLC office. So he did attempt to do it on the business directly, but yeah.
Okay, because I don't have the receipt for the service in the court file.
I did provide it when I came by to the office. So I did, it was, yeah, I apologize because it was in there, fairly competent. I wanted to make sure you had the service as well as the actual receipt. So yeah, I can provide that.
Okay, and all right, now I'll hear from Mr. Harmon.
Yes, Your Honor. So the thing with this is these are insurance issues, right? And so it explained very clearly and explained in the contract, which they signed. I'm sure you have that in front of you. I sent that in. That insurances are difficult to deal with. So it takes a lot of negotiating. It takes time. You can't rush them. They are just going to do what they do. And you check in with them from time to time to try to get them to approve the amount that you ask for. So we did this, and once the claim came in, and this happens not all the time, but often, people will see the amount of money and go, "Wow, it's just this much damage. I'd rather have the money." So at one point, Marty tried to come to me and say, "I just want my money, and give it to me." Blah blah blah, and then ultimately ended up apologizing and said, "Yeah, let's just get it done." We made multiple trips out there with crews to go out, get the job done. Not sure why we would deliver 2 pieces of metal and 1 piece of wood for a job. The receipt says it was $1,200 worth of materials. I had at least 2 guys out there multiple times. I've been out there, I can't even tell you how many times, and they're correct. The guys went out there. They have a gate in front of their road, and then you open the gate. There's no lock. There's no nothing. You just open the gate, and the shop is right there. The house is way past the shop. The guys go out there. They go to work, and they call the police, right? So this happened a couple of times. Eventually, we finally get to where we're getting ready to hang metal, and Zach says, "Nope, that metal doesn't match." We're like, "Well, it's oxidized metal. It's an old shop. You can't match it." Now we can ask the insurance company to pay additional monies and to replace the entire frontage. Sometimes they'll do that. He says, "Yeah, let's do that." So then we do that. And again, weeks go by. You can't can't make the insurance companies respond, but we just keep checking in, and you'll see there's many, many emails with email threads where we're checking in, begging, please, can we get an answer? These folks are getting tired of waiting, so on and so forth. Meanwhile, I get a letter from an attorney that says that they're going to sue me for this money. My attorney responds, I believe you have both of those in front of you, and says, per the contract, yada, 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 yada. And then about that time, I end up getting a response from the insurance company saying, yeah, we'll pay to have that done. Now, we had already been in a situation where Mr. Marty had sent a homeless guy out here to picket my workplace. He had been making some threats by then. And I'm like, oh, we're kind of stuck in this position. So my attorneys wrote him up this thing basically saying, of the monies that's remaining, because in the contract, it says the money's come to us. And that the amount of time and effort that we've put into this over a year and a half, in fact, even just this court today. I mean, I'm supposed to be in Milwaukee at my daughter's basketball tournament. I had to cancel my flights because you can't change these. So the amount of time and effort that we've put into this, I surely don't feel like I owe him money. The letter from my attorney states that because of the extra money they got from the insurance company, $4,800, that we would then settle $2,500 and they would owe me $2,300. They never responded, never said anything. And the next thing I know, I'm coming to small claims court. So that's basically where we're at.
Mhm.
So can you please explain to me, has your business received payments from the general?
Yes. So the general sent us a check with our signature and the Marty's required to get it cashed for the $7,800, or I think it was $7,800.
Okay. And the contract that was signed, sorry, let me go back here. The contract that was signed to do the work, who were the parties to the contract?
The parties would be Harmon and the Martys. Zach Marty is the one that signed it, I believe. Actually, here's, and Trisha Harmon, which is the other owner, my wife. And we've had to, over the years, we've had to do these contracts because this is what happens is people go, oh, there's a large amount of money, more than what I thought it would cost. And he was able to get it. And now I want it. And so we have to do this to protect ourselves. I have more than 40 hours. I was calculating some of these things out just in emails, phone calls, and dealing with this. I've got, 2 laborers, 3 trips. I've got plane tickets I lost, materials that are sitting out there. And, not to mention what kind of damage for a guy sending a homeless guy out to picket my workspace. And, again, I would just go out and get the job done. But I mean, with all the threats, and I'm 60 years old, I got this young guy over here threatening me. This is crazy.
I'm sorry, I'm just reviewing the terms of the contract. I mean, the problem that we have here is that whose insurance is the general? Is that your insurance? I'm sorry, I'm asking this of the Martys now. Is that the insurance on your home?
No, it's not. It's the person that hit the shop. It's their insurance.
Okay, so technically the contract is written up erroneously because the insured is not Zach Marty. It is
That is correct.
Responsible for damage. So, I mean, we have a lot of problems here. And let me explain to you what the issue is. Have you, the Martys, ever signed any kind of release to the individual that caused the damage to your shop?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. Or what do you mean, release?
No.
Oh, no. What do you mean?
Did you come to an agreement as to what the amount of the damage was?
Negative. We
Okay.
dealt with their insurance company.
Okay, insurance company.
And
Yeah.
when did this incident occur?
September of 2024.
Okay. So you have an open claim with the at-fault driver's insurance company for the damage to your property. There is a contract that's written to reflect repairing the damage, but the contract is technically an agreement between, and even it's written up wrong because it says that you guys are the insured, but you're not. It's the person who caused the damages that's the insured, but the contract is being paid for by the general, who you guys have agreed to use Harmon and Harmon. If you go by the terms of the contract, it says that nobody else is going to do the work other than Harmon and Harmon. But the work, you guys aren't out money because the money for the contract is being paid by the general. So that's why I asked you if you signed a release with the at-fault driver, because then that puts that person off the hook and it puts the general off the hook. But if you haven't, then you still have your claim to recover. Now I'm going to go to Mr. Harmon. The problem you have is they do have a claim of unjust enrichment in that you've received money for work that you haven't done. The problem is who you received money from, which is not the Martys. So there's a person missing in this entire process, and that is the at-fault driver and the insurance company who are not present today and not part of this, which they kind of need to be. So I'm not sure what to tell you, because I don't know that I have the authority. You have an erroneous contract, so I can't use the contract as the basis to award anyone anything because the contract states the wrong parties. So while you guys are the ones that are supposed to have the work done and it hasn't been done and you need that work to be done, your fight is really with the driver who caused the damages and the insurance company who's supposed to be paying for it, because that driver is still on the hook for your damages. Okay. On the flip side, Mr. Harmon's been paid money by the insurance company for that individual and hasn't done the work. So I wish I could get the insurance company on the phone right now, but I can't do that for you. All I can do is, the insurance carrier's FDD constitutes an official written estimate or bid, therefore Harmon's written estimate. See, and that's the problem with the contract is it lists that the Martys are the insured and they're not. Because technically what should happen is the general should get the money back and either have somebody else do the work and break this contract with Harmon and Harmon, or Harmon and Harmon should do the work and whatever difference in the amount should be paid by the insurance company. And that, so we have a missing party. That's what I'm trying to explain.
I don't mean to interrupt, Your Honor, but my husband didn't understand exactly. So I'll see if I have the thing. So what you're saying is he did have something notarized to release them. So that was actually completed. Okay.
And so when you released the at-fault driver, was it for the amount of this bid?
No, it was not. They had so they were not able, he put an additional bid for an additional 4,800 and her cap, she could not do that far. So her cap was
$10,000.
You got it. Yep.
Yeah.
So she has been released.
For the $10,000?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So If that is the case, I guess the problem I have is that is a document that would also need to be in the court, but Mr. Harmon, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you have any of the information from the general indicating that they have a $10,000 cap?
I do not. Actually, I have the only document I have is them saying they approve the additional 4,800. That's the only thing I have, and I provided it. It's an email from them.
Okay.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Michael, the gentleman referred to the thing, he said legally that she didn't want to, the insured didn't want to release that information. So he verbally told me, that's why I said there was an issue with being able, because we would have been fine with having them complete the work, but the money is not there to complete the work. And then we had all these additional issues that have come up. But so the 10,000 was the max that she would be able to do based on her policy.
Okay. All right. So this is something I can't tell the parties how to work this out, and it'd probably be a better way to work this out than the way it's done. But based upon the law of unjust enrichment, I am going to say that Mr. Harmon needs to reimburse the $7,817.09 to less the invoice for the pieces, the materials that are on the property. Did you have the invoice for the materials on the property?
So no 40 hours of the work that I've put into it, a year and a half of this, nothing?
What, do you have an invoice for the materials that are on the property?
I'd have to find it. I don't know if I provided it or not.
Okay.
It was $1,200 is what I know.
Okay. So the court is going to award in favor of the plaintiffs in the amount of $7,700, which is about $1,117.09 for the materials, plus the filing fee and the cost of service. So I'll sign an order to that effect. Okay.
That is unbelievable.
You just left.
Thank you, Your Honor. Is there anything else you need from us at this time?
No, that will be in the court file later this afternoon.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Got a check from the policy, but the work never came. Found some strangers on my property, it was a funny old game. Said his contract was solid, but he got the names wrong. Unjusting enrichment, baby, all day long. Gotta pay back the money, can't keep what you don't earn.